Plants respond remarkably to food and water, just like we do. But one thing that we tend to do is neglect our trees and wonder, why aren't they growing quick enough? All you gotta do to get your trees to boost their speed of growth, to boost the amount of time it takes for them to set fruit, is just feed and water them regularly. Don't neglect them, don't forget about them, feed them. They want food just like any other plant. And today I'm gonna give you 3 hacks to make sure that you are feeding your trees as much as possible. Building compost is key to having good growing plants in your garden. But one of the things that you can do to make your plants grow better is to build that compost right where the plants are. And so for me, I periodically move my compost piles around the property so that they can feed the plants that they're next to while the compost is building. So behind me right here, I have a compost pile, and I have these banana trees that I planted 6 months ago that are producing already. And I have a MacNut tree back over here. This tree here I planted as a single stick about a year ago, and it has branched out and is growing super quick in just that 1 year. And that's all because I put my compost piles right by where my plants are. And beyond just these 2 plants, my bananas and MacNuts, I've noticed that I've had my coconut trees here that have been languishing for years have finally also started to take off. And so even though the compost isn't right near these plants, their roots are able to tap into the goodness that exists here. And so doubling up your compost piles to feed your trees as you build compost, that's one way to kickstart your garden and to produce fruit quicker. Another thing that plants really love is a constant supply of water. Even in the tropics where we are, we have periods of drought. In a place like Puna, where we have 160 inches of rain a year, we might have 2 or 3 weeks where we don't get any rain at all. So at those periods of time, you can add a little water to your plants. And if you're in dry climates, this pertains to you even more. Keep your plants regularly watered, and you'll see increased growth in all of your fruit trees. Okay, so you may be thinking to yourself, gee, Sean, thanks for those genius tips. My plants need food and water. Oh, wow, I didn't know that. Well, shoots, man. The thing that most of us do, and I am guilty of it, is we fail to do it as often as our plants need. You know, the moment that you wonder, when was the last time I fertilized that tree, should be the moment that you're fertilizing that tree. So the more food, the more water, the more these plants respond, just like you and I do. All right, let me show you something. I have this coconut tree that I planted 18 years ago. This is in a corner of my property that was kind of neglected for a long time. And it shows. This tree is not very big for being almost 18 years old. It's just languishing, hasn't really done much until recently when I've been adding more compost. And even though it may not look it, this tree has doubled in growth in the past year. But then we have this coconut tree here, planted at the same time as that other tree I just showed you. Producing coconuts, about 20-25 feet tall, and it is thriving. And what's the difference? I've been adding compost and fertility to this area, fermented seawater, anything I could think of to this area to get this coconut tree to grow over the years. It got so much more attention than the other coconut trees around here, and it shows. That is proof on what difference it makes to just feed your trees. All right, so now we've gone over feeding our trees with compost and locating our compost piles next to our trees. We've gone over adding water during dry times. That is a tip that is often overlooked sometimes, especially in our rainy climates. We just think we get enough water, so during those dry moments, everything should be fine, right? Our last tip is to just be in the garden more. There's an old Chinese proverb that says the gardener's footsteps make the best fertilizer. And I really believe that. Whenever I just walk around in the garden, I tend to see things that need to get done. I give a little more care to my plants. I'll feed them a little more. Maybe I'll chop off a couple branches of the ice cream bean tree and share it with my bananas here. Or maybe I'll just grab a little pail of fish emulsion or compost tea and just pour it on something. None of that happens if I don't come out into the garden. And so really, just being out here and interacting with your plants goes a long way. And that's one of the secret ninja tips that us gardeners have. It's not really complicated. It's all really simple stuff. Food, water, and just being present in the garden. But it's something that gets overlooked and neglected by a lot of us when it comes to gardening. So if you want to have a healthy, thriving garden, trees that grow 100% faster than other people's trees, then take these tips to heart. Get out there, feed your trees, water them, and spend time with them. And you'll have a thriving garden in no time. Well, shoots, guys, I hope some of these tips helped you today. I'm looking forward to you getting your fruit trees, getting to fruit production even faster than you thought possible. All it takes is your love and hard work. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. If you like this video, plant that finger on the like button. Until next time, ahui ho.